Welcome to Scary Good Camera Gear. I'm artist Ghoulio, and today we're looking at the Tamron 20mm f2.8 OSD 3, etc., etc. Now, I bought this lens to replace my 14mm Rokinon. I bought that on a whim because I really needed something to shoot a haunted house walkthrough. When shooting a haunted house walkthrough, it requires the ability to see as much of the scene as possible because there's a lot of actors coming from sides. They tend to pop out coming this way. You know, you need to have that wide angle. The Rokinon, however, could not be sharp enough on the edges. There was a lot of aberration, a lot of vignetting, which I usually don't mind, but I could not find the tack sharp point of the lens, especially not at 2.8 completely open. So I bought the Tamron, which is an autofocus at Fort Worth Camera, which is in Fort Worth, Texas. I bought the lens for $250, which was roughly what I bought the Rokinon for. But the Tamron is autofocus, which is fantastic. When testing it out in the store, I could see that it was very sharp on most of the lens. And also it is macro 1:2, which means you can get really close, and I mean like really close before things get out of focus. This is really important for my needs. Whenever the actors pop out and are trying to scare the camera, they tend to get really close to the lens and I lose their focus. Then I can't really use the shot for anything. But with this macro, they can get as close as they want and I can get the detail of their teeth and up their nose. Fantastic. So usually to test out my lenses, I like to do camera walkthroughs of the haunted house on a show night. However, a very unique opportunity presented itself. The band Ritual, which is a ghost tribute band, asked if I could play drums for a couple of shows. They had shows in Alabama and in Tennessee. Their drummer was already scheduled to exit the band. Their follow-up drummer was not quite ready for travel and performing. So I stepped in. They handed me their 22-song set list, which I had 10 days to learn. Perfect opportunity for a montage. Here I set the camera as close as possible to the drums while still maintaining a lot of the scene. Very low lit, one source light. This lens does great in really tight spaces. I could just sneak this right under the drums and get that pedal work. During the first show night, I put the camera really close to the drums. I got a really nice view of the stage from my point of view. The lens did great. It captured the light well. It got all of what I wanted to see on the drums. It got a lot of the band. The audio was terrible, mostly cymbals. Oops. But if you look at this shot, it looks beautiful. Here's a shot from 2 years prior using the Rokinon, and if you see, it's just not sharp enough. It doesn't look quite right. For the same amount of money, the quality is way lower. So I really prefer the Tamron when it comes to the overall look of the lens. On our second night in Alabama, I tested the lens doing a walkthrough of the venue. It looks great. I don't mind the low light. I really don't. I love exposing for the highlights when I'm doing anything more professional. I live in the darkness, so all I care about is those highlights. What I really didn't like is the lens is so lightweight that it made my shot not steady. I like the resistance of a lens, and this is just so lightweight that I found it kind of hard to keep it steady. I think I just need to practice more with something this lightweight, but I could see this coming in handy when shooting for hours on end. Can't get tired of that. Look at that. Wah! I got some great shots of the band that was opening up for us. Amazing band. Don't cry, stop. was time for us to go on stage, I couldn't find a proper angle for where to put the camera, so I put it right behind the band, got a terrible shot of the band's butts. However, take a look at the shot of the crowd. Now this is wide, but it's not too wide. I like really, really wide. I like terribly obnoxious fisheye lens.
The rhythm coffin, baby!
But this is a good balance between a 30 and a 14 millimeter. Overall, I think this lens is remarkable for videography. When you're doing run and gun and you want to be a little weightless, you want to capture everything, this is wide enough to do that.
Is that, do you think that's heavy? Does it feel heavy? No.
Not at all.
So that's the lightest lens I've ever owned.
I don't see too much glass on this, and it does feel like plastic, which is fine. I feel like if I break this, I would live. I would survive. I wouldn't be too sad. On a night of documenting music, maybe being in a mosh pit, this is great. Doing camera walkthroughs with actors getting too close or coming out from the sides, from like way in the side, you could still see that. This is great for haunted house walkthroughs. I know a lot of people are gonna say this is not open enough to capture enough light in a haunted house. So what I like to do is I get one of these rods that has thread on the end. I stick whatever LED light box I have around, and I put this off to the side as I'm filming or down low.
Welcome to my lab, you foolish creatures.
Sometimes I stick it in my pants so that I can walk through with a little bit of light hitting the actors. But this is perfect for not disturbing your scene too much and getting detail in the monsters' faces and whatnot. I definitely don't think I will use this on a professional level to shoot any promos or campaigns. It doesn't have a cinematic look to it. I prefer the grit and the grime of cinema lenses, so that's what I stick to when I'm doing professional shoots. But definitely this works so well for videography. Videography is when you're capturing what's in front of you, real life. Cinematography is when you're world building, when you're creating the space, when you're painting with light. So capture the world. Thank you so much. This has been Scary Good Camera Gear, where I test out camera gear that is useful for things like haunted houses or playing in a ghost tribute band. I will be seeking more Scary Good camera gear that is very useful for the haunted attraction industry. Like, subscribe, follow me, and together we will find the best Scary Good camera gear.